The existence of life and its continuation depend on a very delicate stability. If you are to think about it, there is only one single conclusion you can come up with. Whole living creatures and the world we live in are specially designed. The first design that makes world a remarkable place is the carbon atom. The scientists concluded that there could be no organism without carbon. The reason is that all the other atoms in the organisms can only make bonds with the carbon atom. There is no other element like carbon because other elements cannot make infinite bonds with other atoms like carbon. The well-known scientist Michael Denton says in his book named as Nature's Destiny, consequently, if life is going to exist in any planet anywhere in the universe, it is going to have to be carbon-based. Carbon molecules, which are the building blocks of the organisms, can survive between 120 degrees and -20 degrees. The only planet in the solar system that has the right temperature range for the carbon atom to exist between millions of degrees to -273 degrees is the Earth. For the temperature of the Earth to be right and proper for life depends on many different conditions. One of them is the distance between the Earth and the Sun. In the magazine called Science and Technique, the delicate precision of the distance is explained as such. The Earth has such an orbit while revolving around the Sun that it only deviates 2.8 millimeters in every 29 kilometers. There is no other deviation in the orbit of the Earth. If the deviation was to be 3 millimeters, there would be great catastrophes. If the deviation was 2.5 instead of 2.8, the orbit would be so wide that we would all freeze to death. 2.1 millimeters, we would all get fried. The heat that the stars radiate varies according to their size. If the Sun had a bigger mass, it would have a greater surface heat. In that case, it would radiate fatal ultraviolet rays. On the contrary, only 10% decrease in the amount of energy sourced from the Sun would cause the Earth to be surrounded with icebergs. A minute increase would fry all the living creatures. The high revolving speed of the Earth helps the balanced distribution of the heat. The importance of the balance is more perceptible when compared to Mercury, where the temperature difference is more than 600 degrees between the night and the day. The Earth has a slope of 23 degrees 27 minutes. This prevents the intense heat between equator and the poles. If it did not exist, the temperature difference between the poles and the equator would increase and there would be no atmosphere to live in. Another factor affecting the heat of the Earth is its size. Certainly it would not have the ideal temperature if it was as small as Mercury or as big as Jupiter. If all the factors for the ideal temperature existed but only one of them was missing, like a different axis, what would happen? The ideal balance of other factors would not mean anything and our world would lose its rightness for life. Then who is making the necessary calculations for the world? It is He who has made the earth manageable for you. So traverse ye through its tracts and enjoy of the sustenance which He furnishes. But unto Him is the resurrection. The inner core of the Earth is solid and the outer core is liquid. The two layers of the core moves around each other. This movement has a magnetic effect on the metals like iron and nickel in the core and causes a magnetic shield going along the atmosphere. This shield, known as Van Allen straps, stops the fatal cosmic rays and only permits 0.1% to enter. If the world did not have such a magnetic shield, the life on the Earth would be destroyed or would never exist. The atmospheric belts have a selective permeability, only allowing unharmful rays, radio waves, and visible light. If it did not have this permeability, we would not be able to use the communication waves or see the daylight, which is the basis of the living world. We made the sky a preserved and protected roof, yet still they turn away from our signs. Suratul Anbiya 32. The world atmosphere is a mixture of variety of gases. If there was more oxygen in the atmosphere than it is now, combustion reactions would occur faster and rocks and metals would erode more quickly. The Earth would be worn out and this would cause a big threat. If we had less oxygen, respiration would become harder and we would not have the ozone layer protecting us from harmful rays. The British biochemist James Lovelock writes about the subject as, the present oxygen level is at a point where risk and benefit nicely balance. The pressure of air is 760 mm mercury, and its density at sea level is 1 gram per liter. Its viscosity is 50 times more than water at the sea surface. These seemingly unimportant figures are in fact quite critical for our lives, because for the organisms having respiratory systems to exist, the density, viscosity, and pressure should exactly be as they are now. God has created the solar system and the universe without a flaw. The all equilibriums are in harmony for us to be able to live. The perfectness of the creation is mentioned in the Quran as, He to whom belongs the domination of the heavens and the earth. No son has He begotten, nor has He a partner in His domination. It is He who created all things and ordered them in due proportions.